So we went from a really bad chapter of One Piece this week to a really bad anime episode of One Piece this week. I guess if they're gonna keep it consistent, might as well keep it consistently bad all throughout, huh? Oh my god. Okay, so I've started to realize that you can kind of tell now when it's going to be a bad episode, an anime episode, or just a really dragged out anime episode when it takes them 5.5 minutes to actually start it. These recaps are really, really long, way too long. They need to shorten it. It's just gotten to the point of being unbearable. So, for the most part, this whole episode of One Piece was just fodder, filler, and just extremely slow paced and terrible, terrible animation. Oh my god. This episode had to have some of the worst animation I've seen in One Piece in God knows how long. Like, the whole episode was just bad. Really, really, really bad. Like, I feel like this was like old school One Piece. You know, the first 50 to 100 episodes of One Piece had animation like this. It was that bad. So, I mean, what is there to say? There was not much going on in this episode. You had the continuation of the Sunny Go with Nami, Brook, and Chopper, and Giola on board, and just a bunch of fodder talk, just pointless stuff. Then they go to the arena, and it's just the Block D is pretty much commenced. They show Rebecca and Cavendish in their separate battles, and I have to say that these arena battles have been very, very disappointing thus far. I mean, if you were to tell me before this arc began that we were going to have an entire arc with like a tournament type thing or an arena thing, I would have been hyped as hell. But there's just been so many pointless fodder characters introduced that we don't care about. And the animation, I mean, it's just repetitive. If you're going to see a guy swing the sword back, forth, back, forth, back, forth, and it's just duck, duck. You know what I mean? It's just the typical slice animations. And they just reuse that for everything in these arena fights. And it's just dragged out and boring. All this pointless fodder. I feel like, you know what, let's just get all these blocks done and move on already. Because other than, honestly, other than Luffy versus... Two interesting things in the arena. Luffy versus Chinjao was interesting, the ending to that. And the whole King Punch thing was really interesting with that and Bartholomew. Other than that, the arena has dragged out, been boring, nothing going on. And this episode was just showing Cavendish and Rebecca and fodder and nothing going on. And then they went back to Law and Flamingo, and once again, after all these episodes where Law was on the run from Flamingo and Fujitora, Law manages to escape again. Now, what Law decided to do at the end of this episode was he noticed that the Sunny Go was close by on Greenbit, and he was actually trying to lure Flamingo away from the Sunny so that he didn't, see Nami and gang, and then ended up intercepting them and going after them instead of Law. Unfortunately for Law, that backfired because instead of Law running away from the ship, he ran adjacent to the ship, which led Flamingo to hurt, and Flamingo heard Nami screaming, and then he turned his attention away from Law, and now focused it on Nami, Brook, and Chopper and gang. Now, the only interesting part of the entire episode was the very end of the episode. And when I say the very end, I literally mean the last 2 minutes of the episode. The rest of the episode was garbage. Garbage, garbage, garbage. Terrible episode. Animation garbage. Until the last 2 minutes. What happened in the last 2 minutes? When Flamingo turned his attention away from Law and started going after the Sunny, hence, here came Sanji. You see Sanji fly through the sky and just an ultimate clash between him and Flamingo in midair. Decent animation on that. Not great, but still decent animation on the clash. And then to be continued. And that's how you want to end these episodes. Very good ending to the episode. I am hyped. Despite the fact that One Piece, these last couple chapters and episodes have just been, oh god. Very good way to end this episode. Looks like it's going to be Sanji versus Flamingo next episode, which I'm sure most of you that have never read the manga probably did not expect. But, yep, Sanji and Flamingo have clashed, and hopefully they'll focus the whole next episode on that, and none of this filler crap. But I guess it really depends on what Oda does. If he decides to go on more hiatuses, I feel like we're going to get more and more of this filler. But what are you going to do? So overall, we are hyped as hell for next week. It should be a good, hopefully, episode of One Piece. But this episode as a whole was not good. I would probably give it like a 4 out of 10. Just a par, subpar, borderline terrible, awful episode. But it's kind of like in the middle of bad and average, whatever that is. Just a 4 out of 10. The ending really saved it, the last 2 minutes, but how often can a 2-minute episode save an episode? You know, it's just, it doesn't happen. So, overall, 4 out of 10. Not a good episode at all. Hopefully, we'll be better next week. It should be with the setup. We'll see. And I'm hyped to see that fight. And that's about it. So we'll see what happens next time. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your comments down below. What did you think of this episode? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Let me know. Like the video. Subscribe. This has been Dario8676. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.